What's up, everybody? Drew here with my man.
Hey, what's up? This is Obi.
Bringing you another episode in the Let's Talk series on King Talk Live, where we discuss personal development, current events, and spiritual growth. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about reality, the distractions around us, and how to better your awareness. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. So, life first. Question of the day is, what is reality to you?
We align reality to the chakras, right? How I connect those two is first with understanding what chakras are, right? And then from there, that consists of understanding it from a perspective that shows it as a reaction shows it as a reflection of the earth. When we think of it, right? So we think of, right? And I know we're talking about reality, right? But I promise we're going to show you guys how these two things connect, right? So when we think of and understand about your chakras, right? And we understand that your chakra, we understand the chakras. And then when you think about ultimately getting to the highest point in terms of having one consciousness, right? But when you think about it, what's the only one thing that could have one consciousness, right? It's the earth, right? That's the reason why the rock is first. Now, when we think of it from a perspective of humans, we think of it as us as humans coming to one consciousness. But when you think about it, ultimately, if, depending upon how you look at it, it shows that we came from one, but ultimately understand it from the earth perspective, the earth is one. So when you think about that overall alliance to the earth and how the earth itself goes through its transformation, I think that perspective all within itself will create a little bit of insight as far as how we are then perceived to exist in this reality. So I say that to say this: the earth gives us everything that we ever needed to survive. Now, we were brought into this existence, into this reality at a particular time, but then that time was then now altered by a manipulation that goes back to what you were just talking about, right? It could have been one person, and by the time years and years and years went on, now all of a sudden, we went from, for instance, right, Russia, right? You being an American citizen, you might hear someone speak about Russia. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I don't like Russia. But why? Russia never did nothing to me, right? But because of the system that we live within, we supposed to all of a sudden feel a certain way against Russia. So just think about that for a second, right? You could have been born a Russian citizen, you could have been born a Chinese citizen, and ultimately that would have been something that had been programmed for you to feel a certain way about somebody else.
In terms of reality, I view it as, like you were saying, it's pretty much a matter of perspective. And we need to understand something, that reality wouldn't exist without consciousness. So, without your consciousness being plugged into the reality, there would be no reality itself, because only thing that would exist is nothing. So you need the consciousness to become aware and see all the matter that's around them. I know a lot of people may think that the physical things that you see are real, but they're not necessarily real. They're vibrating at a level that your mind can comprehend the things that are physical.
To what you just said just now, it stems even into a version where when we're all humans, right? Again, it's all about breaking us down, separating us in order to have control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much separation. Separation is one of the tools that they have in their tool chest. So the divide and conquer, they utilize it a lot. And eventually we'll make a video about who these you are, because we keep referring to certain people, but if you're in this space, you already know who we're talking about. We shouldn't have to drop names. In terms of how reality is, right? If you learn from your parents learn from their parents, and so on and so forth, right? The information that you got is from your parents, right? So that means that, so the original human, that person right there, right? In comparison, that if you were in a circle, whenever you're in a circle, you're in a circle of 30 people, you tell that message to one person, by the time it comes back to you, it's completely different. So the thing that I was saying was that, how do you know that the information that we have right now isn't manipulated and changed around as it goes around the circle coming back to you? And how can you truly trust that everything that you have learned, comprehend, is really true? Because even for me, all of the things that I've learned, this is how I know that the things that I've been learning over the past 9 months and so on is true, is because all of it is better in my life. And the question I have is, why is it that these things that are supposed to better people's life, they're trying to censor it? They don't want it to get out. You have to go through these. I watch many of videos where it's like their videos are getting taken down. Why are their videos getting taken down? That just shows you that the information that's being put out by those people that are getting their videos taken down is the truth. Because you would only hide the truth. If it was a lie, why would you try to hide it? So, and it's an easy transition. We can easily transition into, talking about the distractions around us, and how not only are there distractions around us, there are distractions that are put into place to keep us at a certain vibration. And the other thing is, there's a show on Netflix right now where they're talking about how social media is very addictive. Like, we don't already know that. And if you watch the first couple minutes of the video, right, the people that created all of the social media aspect of it, they didn't even know that it would get to that point. Which is, so it's like, how you created it and you meant well, but the thing that you created, there's a flip side to the coin. So when they created it, they had good intentions. People utilizing it didn't have good intentions. So, I say that to say this. I know we kind of digress a little bit off of reality, but, we're going to move on to the next topic. We'll come back to reality throughout the series. I just briefly went over, just touched on it a little bit about how, the distractions around us. And I would love to hear your opinion on the distractions around us. Life first, let me hear what you got to say, man.
Yeah. So when it comes to distractions, when we look at it from a perspective, something that you just spoke about in regards to technology, right? So technology ultimately, so this is how I feel about technology personally. I feel like if you have the right intentions and you're not doing things that's going to compromise the existence of humans when it comes into the human experience with the AI, right? Ultimately, as it keeps evolving, I'm okay making sure that there's a code of ethics and we're never ultimately doing things that's going to compromise our existence. So I'm not against technology, but the individuals that has a particular agenda, I embrace it. I love technology, but unfortunately, as we know, technology to where we understand it to be right now, we see how it can be extremely distracting in terms of how addictive it is. Right before, you would do the pat check to make sure if you have your keys, your wallet. Now it's where's my phone? Where's my phone? Literally, people will lose their cool because they don't have their phone. So ultimately, when you talk about distractions, right? So you you literally, you have a 24-hour distraction with you, right? A 24-hour
24-hour
distraction with you,
distraction.
right?
That's
You
nuts.
know, and to the point where when you think about algorithms, right? So your phone, right? And people think, well, you know, me only when I'm on YouTube or some of these other platforms. No, your phone essentially it built an algorithm on you. So your phone already understands it. Obviously, we could take that a whole lot further, but I'm only going to speak in it in the context of how it parallels with us utilizing our phones. So your phone is a distraction. So if you don't understand how to manage certain apps that you're going on, you know, as opposed to are you just being a zombie to it, or are you actually going on there to educate yourself? Because see, there's a difference, right? They will prefer you just be on there and you swipe and or you tick or you talk or whatever the case may
Or
be,
like,
right?
you
No
know what I
pun
mean?
intended, you
Yeah.
know. But in regards to those types of awareness, in terms of increasing your awareness, I'm sorry, as far as just your phone alone, that has to be something that has to be the immediate. Once you get to that point, then we could have other conversations in terms of recognizing energies that will come within you when you're trying to do something that could be a distraction or within itself. But I think the first part that we need to emphasize on, because this is the thing that is it's showing a way higher effectiveness, is the ability of how they're utilizing technology to distract us.
Yeah.
So you know, so I
Yeah.
think you bring up a great point, man. Great
Yeah.
question. Thank you.
And the thing, that's only one. The thing, that's only one. And that's 24 hours on you. You don't go anywhere without it. And if you can't find it, you go crazy. And then with that, you have social media. And it was crazy because it was interesting, I should say. I was watching a video on it was like a small little clip, and he was talking about what would happen if social media shut down. Like, it just all of it. There's no Instagram, Twitter, all of them. None of them. There's no social media. I mean, what do you do then? Like, and some people, they don't even know how to function, because if you go and you check your phone, you got an iPhone, you can check how long you've been on them apps. And sometimes some people be on there for hours and they don't even notice it until you really see the summary, because you'll look at it, you're like, wait, I was on here for 6 hours. Where did I find 6 hours to be on Instagram? But to distractions, man, I'm telling you, there's so many distractions around you, plus on top of what's going on in the world right now. That's even, we don't even want to talk about that. That's a whole different topic in itself. So, you know, with distractions, we're just going to close it out. And, you know, if you want us to go back to distractions, we can go a little bit deeper. Drop a comment, drop something in the comments talking about if you want us to go deeper into distractions, because we're more than willing to talk about it. So we're going to go to the next topic right now. We're going to talk about better your awareness. And Life First, if you want to go first, it's okay
Yeah,
with me.
yeah. Yeah, so something that I do in regards to making sure I'm maintaining my awareness, it starts off with how I wake up, right? So I would say probably now going on 6 months, every morning when I wake up, it's a must. I have to meditate. It's a must. Literally, if I don't meditate, I would even know what my world would feel like now 6 months in, as opposed to how I did before. Everything was just all over the place. So meditation is something that it helps with centering your thoughts. It also helps with giving you some kind of clarity in terms of what are some of the things that you're setting out to do for the day. But more importantly, again, it helps you center yourself. So in terms of increasing my awareness, for me, if I'm at a place where vibrationally I'm just going from one end of the spectrum to the next, then ultimately I'm more so reacting as opposed to being proactive in that sense, right? So for me, when I go through that process in terms of starting my day with meditating, and again, that could consist of anything that could get you at to get you in a place to where you're the calmest in that sense. So meditation it doesn't have to be in its traditional sense in terms of sitting in a dark room, sitting on the floor, also not saying that that is not good, but ultimately, again, it's all about being able to get you to a place so where you can disconnect with yourself. So from there, I have some affirmations that I then say to myself in terms of reassuring, again, the things that I'm setting out to do for the day, a part of making sure that my awareness is where it needs to be at without any distractions, right? Because you see now, if you're going about your day in real time as your day is going on, then it's hard for you to prioritize what is more important than the other, if there is that, or even how you like your day to look. It will just be you just kind of going on with your day. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe that worked for some people, but ultimately then you go on feeling unaccomplished, and again, your day could be perceived as being, one of those hectic kind of a days. Something that I have been doing, again, that have worked for me for about 6 months now, is meditating. So ultimately, with just me doing those simple things, we will get more and more into the meditation process as far as how it's done, how I do my particular process. But I think the two biggest things to think about right now in the meditation, in you building your awareness, it should be, meditation, and then, thinking about some affirmations in terms of, things that, what you either want to be inspired, to or for, in that sense. So that's, what I got right now in regards to increasing awareness. Again, man, another great topic, man.
Yeah, so me too can see the effects of when I do and when I don't. And, as I learn more about myself and become more aware of myself, I go throughout my day and it's just like, it's a completely different feeling versus if I woke up and then it's my morning routine and I'm out the door. That feeling right there is just like I'm working from behind. And with the meditation, I'm already at the starting blocks. I'm ready to run, ready to go. Everything is set up. I do affirmations too. Mine is more so I say it to remind myself of who I truly am. And with awareness helps you to learn about yourself. For me, I'm at the point where if anything that I do come in my awareness and I'm not approve of it, it will not get past me and I will adjust it. So with the meditation, you become aware of your thoughts. And those thoughts are not necessarily you, where you have to be able to watch your thoughts and become aware of them and understand that you are consciousness. So you being consciousness, that's basically what awareness is. It is consciousness. So if you think about it on a point of view of you being consciousness, you need to better your awareness. The easiest way to better your awareness is to learn about yourself. Because as we mentioned in the previous episode, was that everything that you experience throughout your day is a reflection of you. So if you can understand yourself, right, and know that, hey, if I'm going through a situation and I'll go out and meet somebody and I'm being angry and upset, the people that I come into contact with is going to constantly be people that are angry. So based on the challenge that we gave you guys from the last video, if you start to implement that into your life, you will start to notice that more frequently. And the more you start to notice it, the more your subconscious starts to register that. And after a while, you're just going to naturally start smiling. But for now, it's just more so becoming aware of the things that you do. And to build your awareness is to be aware of the things that are that are helping you and the things that are hindering you. So by learning more about yourself, that's the easiest way, because that's what I did. I started learning about myself.
Honestly, man, great topics. This was a great bill. All
right, so that was the end of the episode. So like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see when we upload new videos.